Hola! Welcome to my first episode of Ingrid's Neighborhood. It's an idea, a grown-up idea actually, to do a replica of a kid's story book, happy ending, but really, it's all about grown-ups. And in this Grimm's fairy tale of grown-up exploratory, we will see funny things, we will see awing things, we will see things to think about, and we will just see life together. I think as I explore, so are you exploring. So, welcome to my first episode. This is my official attempt to share with you 100%, no filters, open book. You ask me any question, I give you any answer. And so, let's start. My goal is to inform you and entertain you, and also to create with you and to inspire you. And maybe by doing that, I will also do that for myself. So, with that being said, let's get to it. Here we are in this life, right? We all have come from different places, different backgrounds, different colors, different creeds, but at the end of the day, we are all human beings on this planet who have to try to ace it, or maybe just accept that we're not going to ace it. But whatever it is, I'm the boss of me, you're the boss of you. And so when these predicaments and dilemmas come up, you say to yourself, I'll never win. I'll always be a loser. I'll never be able to get ahead of the game. You know what the answer to that is? Bullshit. Because I know when you think about a situation and you say to yourself, oh, I want that so bad. Mommy, I want that black Cadillac so bad. I can taste it. Well, what's the first step to get the Cadillac? Well, there's many options. You could pick a wealthy man, you could rob a bank, or you could come up with a smart strategy for saving money and maybe getting a sponsor to back you up so you can go around the country and sing to everybody. I don't know, there's always a solution. And so I've done a lot of thinking about this, believe you me, and I've decided to go for it. And if y'all hate me after that, you know what, I apologize. I've tried so hard my whole life to please everybody. And obviously, I please most. But, you know, the ones that, you know, some of the ones that, let's just be honest, let's talk about men. The men that I try to please, they don't appreciate it. So why am I even trying? I'm just going to be me. And with that being said, I hope that you will be you, and in your silliest moments, and in your happiest moments, and your most sorrowful moments. And so let's begin. Life. Don't you ever feel that you can't get a hold of the game? You know, there's a game out there, right? An economic game, and sometimes you just can't seem to get a grip on it. Sometimes you are walking down the street with a couple extra $100 in your pocket, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna treat everybody to some beans and rice at Kermit's place. Or, yeah, I'm gonna buy that dress at the thrift store for this special friend, even though it might be a size off. I have a little playing money. And then you like, you squabble that money, right? And then there you are, right now, full brutal honesty, I think I have $225 in my account after paying my bills. But you know what? That's okay, because I have a brain, like Dr. Seuss. And so in my brain, I'm calculating how to get back up on the game, mofos. And so, you know, it's like a Dr. Seuss book. I can sing, I can dance, I can think, I can talk, I can hustle, I can walk the streets and sing on the streets, worst case scenario. How about you? There's always something you can do. And I highly promote this new idea of just being you. You know, of course we all have to have filters, you know, so I would say keep your cursing to a minimum and only keep it for those who deserve it, like, you know, motherfuckers who fucking fuck with you, like fucking bullshit, because you fucking were fucking nice the whole time, and then you fucking find out that they fucking, you know, went over and threw you under the bus, motherfucker. Go for it. I say Tourette syndrome all the way for 3 to 5 minutes a day. Whew, cathartic. Whew. So much better. And then you get back to being a lady or a man or a gentleman. And by the way, did you know that the definition of a gentleman is how you conduct yourself in hours of difficulty? Not when it's easy and you can look cool in your tuxedo and walking down the street with your cash in the pocket, but no, mofos, when you are actually down on your luck and you have a can of beans and you walking down that street and you still have kindness in your heart, and you still have ethics and moral standards in your heart, you are truly a gentleman. And with that being said, sometimes you must take a deep breath and sing the Nina Simone song. You've got to learn to leave the table when love's no longer being served. Show everybody that you're able to leave without saying a word. Yep. Life. We're gonna do this exploratory together. And I tell you, when I say I'm gonna say what I think, I'm gonna say what I think. So let's start off. We have economics in life. We have to figure out how to hustle. I know that you probably don't know the 5 points of selling. My father was a master salesman, and the 5 points of selling are this. You may not move forward to the next one until you accomplish the first one. The first point of selling, attention. Mofo! The second, interest. Am I interesting to you? Desire. What am I trying to sell? Well, why would this be interesting to anybody? Why would anybody want to buy what you're trying to sell to them? And then once you get their interest, you take action on it. You get them in the moment. You don't wait a second. You don't give them a chance to second think the situation. And then you close the deal. And then you leave them with their head scrambled, wondering, wow, am I happy or did I just get, rolled over? The 5 points of selling in life are very important. Attention, interest, desire, action, and close. Boom, on to the next big thing. And so, I will tell you that in my life, growing up the way I did, on the streets, and my father always decided that if we did something one way, we would never do it that way again. We would always do it a different way, and he was all about the road. So let me tell you, at the age of 10 years old, walking down the streets, pushing a golf cart with all your belongings in front of schools where there were kids, is enough to do the job to squash your self-esteem. And so, let's segue to boundaries. Economics, boundaries, your energy field. I wrote about it in my book, The Big Time, which you can purchase directly through me. It's a memoir, coming of age, and it has all kinds of secrets, information, and fun anecdotes, and a story of getting sober, a story of growing up, a story of accountability, self-responsibility, and beginning again, brand new. Does that sound familiar to you? Do you always feel like maybe you're in a rebirth of your life? That's because you are. Nothing ever stays the same. This frizzy hair used to be straight when I was sick, but now I'm healthy and it's frizzy, and I don't care because things change. And so, boundaries. How do we understand boundaries, especially as females? Because we are trained in a society to accommodate and to please, especially in different cultures, even more so. Like the Asian culture, for example, is trained to submissify themselves as women to men to please them. And yet, as Americans, we are taught to be independent, make our way, make our money, raise our family. I can bring home the bacon, cook it up in a pan, and show everybody that I'm a man, 'cause I'm a woman. Woo! A WOMAN. Now say it again. So, we're in a dilemma as women. Let's be honest. Look up the numbers, do the research. And I'm speaking to men as well on this. This is not an exclusive for women only. This is about boundaries for any type of person. And I am the absolute worst at it. So I'm learning boundaries along the way with you as I work on this new show here. Boundaries. It's so simple. Yes, no, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. Maybe, yes, no. No, 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 no. Kind of like Marilyn Monroe and diamonds are a girl's best friend when she comes out all hoo-hoo, and then she's the one in charge. She's got the alpha. She's like, no, 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 no. Yes. And so, I think through studying psychology that a lot of us feel we don't really have the right to have boundaries, that we're going to hurt somebody's feelings, or that, they're more worthy than we are, and that we don't deserve to be treated and respected as a human being. But you know what? When you get into the animal jungle and you don't give another creature respect, you know what happens? So I think we all need to have an inner tigress in us, that when somebody steps over you, that you can put that stop up. So I'm on this lesson together with you. I'm not an end all knower of wisdom. As a matter of fact, you know, the 3 major relationships I've had in my life have been very stepped over of boundaries in my world, because the first one I was young, it was 5 years, you know, he was young too, and I accommodated whatever he wanted until I just couldn't take it anymore. I was so young, and I just lost it on him. And I threw a plate down on the floor, and I paid $75 for that plate, but I threw it down on the floor to make a point. But who had to pay the price? Me. I had to clean up the dishes, and I paid for that plate. So, you know, that was the first one, right? So no, you know, I did not learn boundaries, obviously, because I went into a marriage where, you know, absolutely no boundaries again. In my life as a performer, where I hold complete control and power over my creation, my song, my word, my voice, you know, going out to the gig, booking the gig, relating to the players, the whole picture that I have for my vision of my life. But on my personal level, you know, I always wanted to please people because I just wanted them to be happy, you know. And then what happens is this kind of psychological game, I think, that goes on. And even people that don't really have it in them, you know, generally find that, you know, here in New Orleans, they talk about, you know, the devil came to town and the devil got a hold, and the devil who came to Tupelo Street was on the news, you know, a couple of nights ago. 2 people were killed, and the person interviewed said, oh, the devil came to Tupelo Street. But you know what? I think if you test and you, you know, if you step on somebody's boundaries, right? And they say, oh, that's okay. You know, really, it's okay. Everything's good. You know, yeah, most people generally would respect that and remember that. But there's also this thing where, you know, it's a domination thing, and that, you know, if you can get away with that, what else can you get away with? Can I push this boundary a little further? Can I push it a little further and further and further? And, you know, I'm not holding back anything right now. We're talking, we're having a real conversation. O'Shea Duke Jackson, you can go fuck yourself. That man, he brainwashes men towards women. Did you know that? And my last guy, all he did was watch this guy. This guy submissifies, misogynistic, and so you know what? I'm gonna flip it around, and we're gonna have real talks where we're all on an equal level, and we're gonna talk about real things, real psychology for men and women. And generally, you know, when you get into a relationship, you start to lose your boundaries. You start to want to please the person, or you start to meld and become one. The 2 of you become one entity that, you know, is kind of a codependent situation, especially if there are kids involved. And so awareness on boundaries. And, you know, it's interesting because I always thought if you had boundaries, then you must be a bitch, you know, but it's not particularly true. Somewhere between here and there lies a firm no and a solid yes. And so economics, boundaries, and drive, I just learned recently, and it makes so much sense. The only thing that drives us, it's kind of like caveman mentality. We are so genetically made up still like cavemen and instinctually to do it in a certain way, to live in a certain way, to, you know, to have security, to make sure there's food and a roof, and to dominate and conquer by the man, and the woman to be the caretaker. You know, this is so instinctually ingrained in us that, you know, we have to be aware that we are in a modern day time, and we are all coming on equal levels now. And that's the way it should be. It should not matter. I mean, cliche, right? It should not matter how you look. It should matter how you think. It should matter how you act. And it should matter what kind of love you have in your heart. And within that being said, the thing that really drives us is desire. You know, we want comfort. We want sensuality. We want, you know, we want to feel good. And those are the things that drive us. And so when you connect with someone and you're taken with that person, you're willing to give up anything for them. You truly are. You know, I used to walk to the corner store in the middle of the night, you know, to go buy booze and cigarettes for my ex, because he was afraid he'd get shot at night as a black man. So he sent me out there, and I was like so in love with him. I put my mace in my hand, and I went out as a warrior to get my man his goods. So, you know, but, you know, the reality is I should have had more boundaries. I should have said, you know what? I care about my life too. And if you really want the booze and cigarettes, you can go get them yourself. So, you know, these are things that I'm learning along the way. And I'm also learning a lot about being able to express yourself, you know, and, you know, what are the boundaries of what you can say and what you can't say? I do feel, after growing up in a work group where everybody talked about everything all the time, I do feel that our society doesn't really one-on-one, you know, really directly communicate with a person because they're afraid they're going to hurt their feelings, or they're in a power trip. because with information and silence, you hold power. And with that, you don't want to expose yourself. Because if you expose yourself, then you'd really have to look at what your actions were, because other people are seeing them too. And so, you know, I'm gonna be totally honest with you here. You know, 5 years with a guy, right? You know, total trust in my mind. Like, hey, Front Street trust, you got it, all yours. I love you, I'm behind you, I give you whatever you need. I know you're going through a hard time, I'm there for you, you know. And this motherfucker, he decides that he wants to, have 3 women at one time. And so here I am giving this guy a blowjob while he's fucking 2 other women. And if you really want to get funny about this and disgusting, I'm basically having oral sex with 2 other women and not even getting the pleasure from it. So, you know, what kind of trust is that? You know, and this guy, you know, he's going around acting like I'm crazy. I'm crazy? You fucking lied to me. You know, you lied to me and you continue to look me in the face and let me rub your feet and let me find an apartment for you while you were planning on moving in with another girl. So, you know, these are wake-up moments. You cry down to your core gut and you don't even feel like anything. You feel like nothing. And then you realize you have to go on. And so you take a deep breath and you say, how am I going to learn boundaries? You know, how am I going to have enough respect for myself as a human being on this planet that God put me here for a reason as I am? And you know, all this God, 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 Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. You know, New Orleans, we have a lot of religion, and I've always been very spiritual. And so lately, a lot of people have been swallowing me who are part of the church. And so, you know, while I take all the information in and I reflect on it seriously, you know, I'm not one to be using, you know, the 10 Commandments on anybody, really. But at the end of the day, isn't it simple enough to just basically be kind to people and have some basic respect for them, especially if they're in your inner sanctum? And on a personal note, what I noticed is that, you know, I have all of these wonderful people in my life. They're on my outer circle. You know, my inner circle is very, very small. My minute innermost circle is really just me and my dogs. You know, then I have my mother and my sister, my sisters, and, you know, my daughter. But everybody's so busy living their life that really the main relations I have right now are with my mom and my daughter, and my doggies. And so, you know, I say to myself, how does a person keep their boundaries, build on their life, grow and ace it, and be able to have a relationship where you can give, you know, unconditionally, but within reason, so you can still maintain your core energy and your life force to continue to go out there and do the work that you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime. You know, and when you affiliate yourself, like Alan Toussaint said, you know, one of his sayings that his daughter said, Allison, she said one of his quotes, she said, you know, tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. And when you don't have boundaries, at a certain point, you find that your circle is getting so diminishingly small and lower in mentality, because the people who have boundaries and have respect and have class have thrown you by the wayside, because they see in an obvious instant that you're really not at the big boy table of understanding the bigger lessons in life. And so I have been permitted to come to the big boy table, and I was trying to put on my big boy pants, my big boy skirt, and take control of your mind, your body, and your spirit. This is yours. This is all yours. Nobody owns this but you. Nobody's allowed to do anything to this unless you give permission. And you know, I have let people just come in and come in and come in, and that's been the normal. And so, you know, I am learning, not there yet, but I'm learning, and I hope that you will learn with me about boundaries. So economics, you know, how do we hustle the cash and still have the time and space to make the dream, right? Boundaries, how do we go out in life and adventure and experience all these wonderful things that might be a little scary, you know, without getting squashed? Boundaries. And how do we go for the dream, right? The big dream. El cojone dream. The big crazy thing that you look at in your mind and you say, oh my God, it's my dream. But it's so ethereal and nebulous, you know, and, you know, here I am in this position in life right now, and I want to go there. And I say to myself, you did it before, you can do it again, Ingrid, and so can you. You can You can. You can. And if your world seems so real to you right now because you're in it, your world could seem so much more real at the same time if you place yourself in another world and just adapted to it. You know, why stay on the lower stratosphere? Why not go for the higher stratosphere? And when I say higher stratosphere, I don't always mean money and accolades. I mean acing, feeling so good every day, getting up and having a routine that you made, that you look forward to, and that your world has been built by you to support you like a beautiful band, you know, in a ring, and there's the jewel, and you're the jewel. You are the beautiful shining diamond, and you have created all the pieces and parts to support and magnify the beauty of that diamond. And that is what I'm working on right now. And I told myself that I will make a half-hour class. This isn't a class, what am I talking about? Unless you want to pay me, but you know, I don't want that. I want you to listen, and I want you to enjoy, and I want you to reflect on this maybe and come back at me with some ideas. I feel like the world is such a shit show right now. It truly is. We got a war going on. We got people killing each other on the streets every day on the news. There's at least 3 to 5 deaths, you know, and they're all in a periphery of my neighborhood, your neighborhood, our community, our world, you know, and we sit here in fear with closed doors. And so how do we individually start such a positive emanating light that's so solid and the foundation is so secure that you can walk out that door and you can glow? I have been trying this as a tester these last few weeks because can I tell you, like, point blank honestly, I've been pretty low. How low can you go when you walk out that door and you don't know what the day will... Oh, out of key. I'll try it again later. Right on the spot. So, how do we sit up straight? How do we have control of our core, our heart, our mind, our ears, you know, our openness, and knowing that at any moment we may have to put up a boundary and a stop sign, right? But how do we do that? You know, and how, I think it's just doing it. I think you just have to do it. And so I've been pretty down these last couple of months, I'll say, ebb and flowing. There have been great moments, and I'm really excited about Jazz Fest coming up, and I'm excited about French Quarter Fest. Hudson! And I am trying to fill in the holes and gaps. So this is my first TV show. Yes, a TV show. I said it, I'm manifesting. I am creating the female version of a positive O'Shea Duke Jackson. Wait, the antithesis would mean there would be no existence of O'Shea Duke Jackson. I completely blame O'Shea Duke Jackson for ruining my relationship. And also, if you happen to hear of the Pink Lessons, you know, that's another platform that men watch that is misogynistic. And so I highly recommend you watch it so you can truly see how disgusting certain situations appear so that men can be brainwashed about women. I don't feel like we have any of that on YouTube, or I could be wrong. I mean, you know, we like to moan and groan about our men sometimes. But hey, you know, women are trained to be good girls. When you're in school and you're young, oh, be a good girl. Don't be a good boy. You know, be a man, but a good girl. You always have to be a good girl. Yes, daddy. You know, and I still have that mentality going on. Be a good girl. Always be a good girl. And what happens when you try to be a good girl all the time is you don't trust your instincts. You don't trust yourself to speak up because you have to be a good girl. And you know what? Fuck that. I am a good person. And I, at this moment in time, am telling you that I am going to be a real person. I'm not going to be a good girl. I will be a good person. I will be a great person. But don't put me in a corner and tell me to be a good girl. And don't tell me and try to gaslight me that I'm crazy, because I'm not. I have a brain that works. It's trained highly in critical thinking, in psychology, and also in gauging people. Actually, I think that part needs a little work, because otherwise, why would I have had 3 crazy long relationships that were, you know, that I submissified myself to? Anyways, I love men. Can I tell you I love men? I love men. So the question is, how can you be you, be the best you, you know, serve your man, and also serve yourself? You know, how do we do this? We can do this. We're equal levels now, you know? Sometimes society is run by matriarchal, sometimes it's run by patriarchal. And a great man up in Provincetown, Massachusetts once told me that life is a pendulum and it swings from here to here. Matriarchal, patriarchal, matriarchal, patriarchal in history, because we have to counterbalance ourselves. You know, women are healers, nurturers, caretakers. Men are destroyers. They are conquerors. It's known in history that is what men do. And so, with that being said as well, you have the matriarchal, the patriarchal. You have the yin and the yang, the male and the female. This is the female part of your body. The backside is the male part of your body. You know, the male part is hard and covers, so to protect the internal female, you know, and instinctually, genetically, that's how we're ingrained as well as human beings, is to, you know, supposedly and hopefully protect the woman, because the woman has the child and carries your seed, you know. But I feel like in today's times, and I've heard it blatantly stated to me, that, you know, what the fuck? Y'all feminists, like, you just ruined the whole thing. Why would I want to do anything for you? You know, you can do it for yourself. Well, just because we can do it for ourselves, you know, you should be happy about that. But you should also still be a gentleman, you know, and offer to take out the garbage once in a while. Don't you think that's fair? I think it's partnership. Partnership is a key word. So we have economics, we have boundaries, and we have dynamics in a relationship. And those are the 3 points I'm going to talk to you about today. I have a few minutes left. I'm sticking to my half-hour format. So with that being said, thank you for listening. It's my first YouTube show. And in this show, I'm going to be a grown-up Mr. Rogers show for everybody, so we can explore and learn together and actually maybe get out of our own trap, get out of our own way, you know, stay in our own lane and not let anybody else run over our lane, so we can get to the ending and the finish line, you know, even if it's as the tortoise in the race, because we all deserve that. We all deserve to be happy. We do. You'll find your happiness lies right under the skies, right in your own backyard. You'll see those castles in Spain by your window pane, right in your own backyard. So, I hope that on this first YouTube show, I need a name. What do you think a good name would be for this show? Let's see, put it right over here above the red curtain. We should put A Jazz Life. Live the Jazz Life. No, I think it should be Adventures with Ingrid. No, I think it should be Oh Happy Days. Oh Happy Days. On that note, I thank you for listening. I would love your feedback. And I will be having guests. I'm gonna have lots of surprises on this little square of red right here. The next time you see me, I may be sharing an interview with a friend right here. Boop, 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 boop. Get to know a little bit about people. Or I may, you know, share something about music. Or I may just, you know, expound upon, you know, situations that I see around New Orleans or around the world, or just, you know, interesting things that I'm reflecting on. And on that note, I believe in you. I believe in people. I believe in me. And I know these have been really hard times the last couple of years. They really have been, in every single way. And sometimes you feel like you're very, very alone. You know, and I've been feeling like that a little bit myself. And I said to myself, well, there's always a solution. And what is the solution? And the solution for me in my life always has been to build something. You know, oh, you won't get hired in New York as a singer? Okay, I'll start my own band. Oh, I'm not getting hired as a singer, and people saying, oh, these young girls are taking your place. How do you feel about that? All right, I'll start a collective of singers called the New Orleans Nightingales. All right, you tell me I can't sing? Watch this, motherfucker. You tell me I can't dance? I'll dance. You tell me something I can't do, and I will do it. And we can, and we will, because life goes very, very fast. I kid you not. Do not wait another minute. Write down your dream and start with that first step. On that note, I will see you at the Bourbon Orleans on Sunday from 8 to 12 to sing a little jazz, a little. I used to visit all the very gay places, those come with me places, where one relaxes on the axis on the thrill of life, to get the thrill of life. You can do it, and so can I. Well, let's get to it, people. All right, sorry about the afro. On that note, thank you for joining me. Please hit the like button, because when you hit the like button, this is brand new, but maybe I'll get paid, and then maybe I can pay the bills, and then maybe I can write you a song, and then maybe I can exist without stressing out every day, and then maybe I can share things where you can not stress too, and we can do all this together. So hit the like button. Thank you.